Hello and welcome to Greywood Gardening. It is Memorial Day weekend, which is our big planting weekend here at Greywood. We're going to plant out basically all of the flowers for the year, as well as all of the tender vegetables that we didn't want to plant out while it was still getting cold overnight. It is a beautiful day for it. It is sunny, it's in the 60s, it's perfect timing because we just had 2 nights in a row where the low got down into the mid to lower 30s. So I'm very happy that I held off on planting all of the tender plants. We have lots of work to do. We have lots of people to help. Grandma and Grandpa Greywood are here working as well today. So I will try to get as much of it as I can on camera. All right, let's get to work. I'm going to be using this in-ground bed that I dug out that will be an asparagus bed next year to plant all of the peppers from our pepper pot experiment. And I've got some tags with me, so I'm going to make very certain to mark which ones are the peat pots, which ones are the paper pots, etc. And as a reminder, my rule for both the peat pots and the paper pots is I'm not going to try to take the plant out of the pot at all. I'm just going to plant the entire pot in the ground because that's how it's supposed to work, and it should just break down and the roots should root out through the pot. Okay, I think that this is the end of day 1 of the planting weekend. We got the porch garden and the Roman chamomile alongside the sidewalk done, but most importantly, we have everything planted now in the veggie garden. And I have to say, it feels great to finally see all of these beds with plants growing in them. And I cannot wait to see what this garden's gonna look like just a month from now. Okay, tomorrow, I think we're gonna start on the cottage garden. Here we go.
This is the dip?
Stuff under it. Well, we did not actually finish getting everything planted on Memorial Day weekend. We just had a little too much to do, and then we were busy during the week. It is now 1 week later when we figured, we'll just plant them the next weekend. And then the weather hit. It was 99 degrees here on Saturday at Greywood, which was miserable. And the forecast has nothing but 90 degrees, sunny for the next week, with humidity just going up every single day. So what we've decided we're going to do is we're going to try to get out just for a little bit of time every single day, even the weekdays, trying to plant only in the shade where possible. And then hopefully by the end of next weekend we'll have everything planted and ready to go. We have been having to do a lot of watering in this heat wave. I've been watering the veggie garden every single day, trying to water it in the morning, but often I'm having to water it in the heat of the day to cool the plants off. The perennial gardens are pretty resilient, and they've been able to take like 3 days of 90-degree weather before needing to be watered, except for the ones that we just planted new flowers into. And those new flowers are needing to be watered basically every single day until they can get their roots going down deeper. So as much as I hate the weather, and certainly everything in the veggie garden hates the weather, there is one plant here at Greywood that is absolutely loving it. Let me show you. It is our prickly pear cactus. I planted this surprising Minnesota native at the end of April, and I just buried these pads about halfway in the sand. And for a while, nothing happened, and then they actually looked like they were dying. They were shriveling up and turning purple. And then a few weeks ago, they started greening up, and now we have all of this awesome little growth appearing at the top of the pads, and almost every single one of them is growing now. So I am thrilled with this. I'm thrilled with the idea that we're going to have some colonies of prickly pear cactus, and I would love to just cover this sandy hillside with prickly pear. In fact, I was just recently looking at the Prairie Moon Nursery website, and I saw that in addition to selling these pads, they also sell seeds. So I might try experimenting with a pack of those seeds and just spreading them out here and seeing if they grow. So truly miserable weather, but the cactus are loving it. In the veggie garden, we have a chore that can't really wait for all of the planting to get finished, and that's here in the garlic bed. I'm growing a hardneck garlic variety, actually called Music, which is very, very popular. And if you're in Minnesota, you're probably growing hardneck garlic. There's a lot of advantages to it. But hardneck garlic, unlike softneck garlic, will eventually put up a scape, which is what this guy right here is. And the scape is really just a flowering stalk. It'll shoot up really high, and then it'll open and have like little mini garlic bulbs called bulbils in it. So we really want to just break this scape off once it starts to curl, so that the plant can put all of its energy into making a good-sized garlic bulb. The garlic cloves will be much larger if you break off the scapes. However, the scapes themselves are actually edible. Some people fry them up and eat them just plain, which I think is a little strange. But I really do like the flavor. They're great any place you would use chives. Anytime you're doing any kind of stir fry, chop up some scapes and toss it in. It has a much milder garlic flavor than actual garlic bulbs. To me, it tastes a little bit like roasted garlic, where the flavors have mellowed a little bit. It's really, really good. Definitely worth keeping and cooking with them rather than just taking them off and tossing them. You generally want to snap them off once the scape has begun to curl. And you do that either by cutting it or just snapping it off, which I'm going to do. One thing I will be doing this year, though, is I'm going to leave a couple of the scapes on the garlic to grow all the way up so that we can see what the bulbils will look like. But all the rest of them I'm going to break off, I'm going to wash them and toss them in the fridge, and we're going to cook with these. As the heat wave continues here at Greywood, I'm pretty impressed with how the veggie garden is doing. For the first several days, I was having to water every single day, and most of that was from the plants that I put in over Memorial Day weekend, and they just could not handle the heat and started drooping right away. But now that they've had a little bit more time to get their roots established, I'm not having to water nearly as often. In fact, I haven't watered in 3 days now, and it's been over 90 degrees every single day. I am particularly happy with how the lettuce is handling the heat. Not only has the lettuce not been like drooping or dying, it hasn't turned bitter and it hasn't bolted yet. Now, I do expect it to do both of those things pretty soon, because in addition to some horrible heat, this is pretty old lettuce. It was, I started from seed, I grew it for 4 weeks, planted it out, that was about 6 weeks ago. That's pretty old for lettuce, but for the time being, it's still doing great. It is obvious, however, that I have clearly planted way too much lettuce just for Mrs. Greywood and I. Part of that's because I just had more room in the tray and I was like, might as well start everything. But part of that is because this lettuce is doing a phenomenal job of recovering. By the way, most of this lettuce up in front here is all Salanova lettuce from Johnny's Seeds. And a lot of this stuff I've either been picking around the outside and it just grows back within a week, you can't tell it was picked. And some of these where I'm actually just cutting like the whole head or the whole top of the head off, within a week or two, it just grows back and you can't tell it was picked. So the lettuce is doing phenomenal, and maybe next time I need to plant a little bit less. And we finally got everything planted. Still technically have a couple of shrubs to put in, and we have 2 apple trees, but those are going to have to wait until I can get more fencing. But that's fine, they can sit in their pots and get watered and wait. Unfortunately, I was not running the camera for pretty much all of our super hot weather planting. I apologize for that. This is also everything that I have for you on this video. Next time, we have more chores to be done at Greywood, and I think it'll be fun to take a look at how the veggie garden is doing at the end of June, because last year, the last weekend of June is when we actually first planted the veggie garden. So it'll be fun to see how we're doing now versus a year ago when there was nothing. Spoiler, I think we're going to be ahead of last year. Alright, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment, and until next time, happy gardening.